Pokémon Legends Arceus has been out for a while now, and one of the coolest things about the game is the fact that just about every character is an ancestor to a modern character. Kamado to Rowan, Arezu to Mars, and Silene to Cyrus. They are the obvious ones, but there was one character in particular that caught my eye, and that was Charm, the eldest sister of the Misfortunes. I talked about it briefly in our last video, but Charm seems to confirm a sort of familial connection between Agatha and Bertha, the Elite Four members of the Kanto and Sinnoh regions respectively. Previously, there was a line of dialogue from Chantal, an Elite Four member from Unova, where she comments on how the two look so similar, but never got around to actually asking one of them about it. And now Legends Arceus basically confirms that they're sisters, or cousins, most likely sisters. But this got me thinking, dangerous, I know, but are other Legends Arceus characters possibly also connected to modern characters in a similar way? Branching instead of just a line? Well, there very well might be. You see, it was brought to my attention that Arezu, a warden of the Diamond Clan, isn't just the ancestor of Commander Mars, but may also be an ancestor of Silver. Now, a bit of a refresher is in order, since we haven't seen this character since Heart Gold and Soul Silver over 10 years ago, but Silver is the rival of the player character in the Johto games, and he's got quite a bit of... Okay, he's got a lot of edge to him. At the start of the game, he straight up steals one of the starter Pokémon, and over the course of the game, it's implied that he also abuses his Pokémon, treating them harshly and abandoning any that he sees as weak. Yeah, a real bad boy. Which makes sense, since it's later revealed in the Celebi event that Silver is actually the son of Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket. Okay, so with the reintroductions out of the way, how are we connecting Silver to Arezu? Well, through two avenues. Character designs and character arcs. Hairstyling and profiling. We'll start with what is considered the easiest and or weakest argument. Silver and Arezu's character development. Throughout the plot of the Johto games, Silver starts off as a loner who trusts no one and learns the value of working with others, which in his case means both his Pokémon and other humans as well. Arezu has a kind of similar path in Legends Arceus. While not a loner as much, Arezu does try to solve the problem of Lady Lilligant's frenzied state all by herself, not trusting anyone enough to help her. Only after injuring herself does she allow others to help her, and after Lady Lilligant is freed, she realizes that she was wrong to try to do this by herself. Now, as I said earlier, this isn't exactly the best or strongest argument, since the motivations of the two characters differ, with Silver's coming from his abandonment by his father, and Arezu's coming from her sense of duty as a warden, and there are other characters in the games that have this same character arc too, like N and Hugh from Gen 5. They're not related. But the reason why I bring this up leads into another more plausible reason why these two characters might be related. Their design. Take a look at Silver. Now take a look at Arezu. And finally, let's bring up her most obvious descendant, Mars. Is it just me, or does it seem like Arezu has some visual elements that are more similar to Silver than to Mars? First off, her hairstyle does look a lot similar to Mars. However, Arezu doesn't have these prominent pointed bangs that Mars has. Instead, her hair is parted to the left, just like Silver's hair. Not only that, but all three characters seem to share this little cowlick thing on the top of their heads. Also known in Japan as an ahegao. Ahoge. Or ahoy gauge. Another thing to point out is Zeru's eyes. She has this vibrant red-orange color to her eyes. It's also similar to Mars, but Mars has this faded neon orange kind of color to her eyes. Silver, though, well, that's a bit tricky. See, for some reason, Silver is depicted with two different eye colors. In all official artwork, he is seen with gray eyes. However, during the opening cutscene of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, he's depicted with red eyes. And this is the only time we see him with red eyes, so perhaps this was just a mistake? Maybe so, but not in the way you may think. Let's look at the silver lining. Let's switch gears and focus more on Silver for a moment. We know that Giovanni is Silver's father, but who exactly is his mother? Well, evidence seems to suggest that his mother is none other than Team Rocket executive Ariana. Let's compare the two. Both have vibrant red hair, and both have a sort of business in the front, party in the back kind of situation. They seem to have similar poses, with one hand on their hip and the other extending out, and Ariana also has red eyes. So remember earlier when I suggested that Silver having red eyes might be a mistake, but not in the way you think? This is it. Silver having red eyes was probably a mistake, because it gave away too much information. It made it a little too obvious that they were related, so they didn't want to do that. Like, the hair and the pose and the relation to Giovanni is enough to give away this relationship, but they still wanted some mystery about this going on, so Red Eyes was a bit too much, and perhaps someone in Game Freak just kind of forgot to edit out Silver's red eyes in the intro. So that explains Silver and Ariana. But if she is Silver's mother, and Silver is theoretically a descendant of Arezu, then logically that must mean that Ariana is also a descendant of Arezu, right? Well, yes, actually. While the visual similarities are not as prominent as Silver or Mars, Ariana does share a really subtle connection to Arezu. Her name. You see, Ariana's name in Japanese is Athena, as in the Greek goddess of war, Athena, the Athena. You know who else is named after a Greek god of war? That's right, it's Arezu. Arezu's name comes from the Japanese pronunciation of the name Ares, as in the Greek god of war, Ares, the Ares. And since the two deities are siblings in Greek mythology, that could mean that Ariana and Mars are siblings as well? Perhaps it's an aunt and niece situation, but it's quite possible. After all, Mars is the name the Romans gave to Ares when they started Pax Romanizing all over the place. And they did the same to Athena, who the Romans named Minerva? And even kept the fact that the two were siblings. Just changed the names because those names are too Greek sounding. So is Ariana Mars's sister and therefore Silver's aunt? Perhaps great-aunt? Or is it more direct and she is a great-grandmother of sorts? Well, it's all theoretical, so really, who knows the answer to that question? But now, that was the Japanese side of things. What about on the English side? Let's take a look, shall we? According to Bulbapedia, Ariana's name could come from Ariane, a series of vehicles for space launch use. That works well, you know, Team Rocket after all. But if we just dig a tiny little bit more, we can see other things as well. Ariana could come from an ancient Greek name, Ariadne, who was the daughter of Minos, the king of Crete, and Pasiphae, the daughter of Apollo, Greek god of the sun. The sun, eh? Remember, Team Galactic have a whole solar system motif going on with their names? Commander Cyrus's name means sun in Persian, and Mars, along with the other members, all revolve around Cyrus. And finally, another possible origin. Ariana could also come from the Welsh word Arian, which means silver. You guys know what I'm about to say, right? It all comes together. Now, I'm sure that there are some of you out there who are questioning just how and or why I'm roping all of these characters together. And well, it's all due to a writing trick called Shorthand. Shorthand is a short and simple way of expressing or referring to something. You might even be familiar with different forms of shorthand, like stereotypes, cliches, and archetypes. In this particular case, we see shorthand being used to show how characters are related to each other without directly stating it. You see this in quite a lot of other franchises too, like Dragon Ball Z, where Bardock, Goku, and Goten all look the same. In Sailor Moon, you have Chibiusa, who looks just like her mother Usagi Tsukino. Heck, look at Brock and Brock's dad! You shouldn't have to expressly state the relation that every character has with every family member that they have in the same series. It starts getting into needless exposition that doesn't sound normal. People don't actively say, "Oh hey, big bro, can you help me out of the dryer?" If it's a video game or anime or drawn comic or anything, you can just make the characters look however you want, so make them look similar, boom, shorthand done. You don't have to express every little familial relationship. And that's actually why it's so especially common in short-form cartoons and anime. Obviously, all of the points we just went over don't mean anything when viewed in isolation. But when you put them all together like this, we can start to see how all of these characters can be related, which is kind of cool when you think about it this way, But what do you think? Do you agree with any of the points we've made today? What other characters do you think could be related to each other? For these and more, check out our video about Hisuian Ancestors, and remember to never stop using your noggin.